mass so that all those people in academia can come out of the shadows because they know this is going on. I've spoken to NOAA scientists face-to-face who told me, and I quote, we know this is going on, we're alarmed as hell. Just like the congressional reps, they said, we don't know what to do. The public must become involved. That's the purpose of this event, Steve, and I'm so grateful for your support, so grateful for Doug and Joe's willingness to air this out. So, again, my gratitude to all of you.
No problem. We will, and as Steve said, we will be posting on our website, Steve, as well, all information for this event. And Dane, I was talking to Ken earlier, and certainly we'll have you back on to nearer the event to remind everyone. But let me slip in a question here, if I may here. Just real simple, logical question, and perhaps this might be academic to most or some. But how do the powers that are behind this evil agenda, how do they expect? I mean, do they believe they're not? They're somehow exempt from the fallout of what's taking place, or how are? For example, you had mentioned about the increase in Alzheimer's and autism. How do they get around that? What do they breathe separate air than we do? Do they eat separate foods? Do they drink separate water? What's the deal?
I would answer that question in a number of ways. First, we know they have methods of chelation that are not available to the general public. I've communicated with a Norwegian researcher that has been into this facility a number of times. The blood is pulled from the body. You're on a table for 2 days, and the entire system is cleansed. And again, this is a very expensive, exclusive method of chelation that is not available to the general public. That's one way in which they could exempt themselves from the temporary impacts of these programs. On the larger picture, again, we know they're digging in. The deep underground military bases, there's no speculation on this. We have photographs of the entrances. I've done presentations on this. The tunnel boring machines called moles. Some of these are 50 feet high. They are burrowing like moles all over the country, digging in. We spoke to Mountain House Freeze-Dried Foods. It was 3 years ago, some of their management, when Mountain House went offline for a long time, off retail, because they were stocking up military bunkers. So do the global elite think they're going to go underground and ride this out? Some of them do. But let me point out that we know from paleo data, from past mass extinctions, and we are in the 6th great mass extinction now. Again, I want to remind your listeners of that. That's a statistical fact. And during previous past extinctions, like the Pedum event, the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum 55 million years ago, we had about a 10 to 20 million year equilibrium period afterward. Can they stay underground that long? Of course not. Is that apparent to them? It doesn't seem to be, or at least they're still heading that direction. But I believe this, again, I do believe that although they are actively using these tools of nature as a weapon on populations around the globe, I do believe that more and more of the power structure, even at the top, is realizing that on this trajectory, they die with us. And as they realize that, I think we'll see a fracturing in the power structure. I think we'll see more and more military people waking up to this issue. I had a call about 2 weeks ago, out of the blue, from a U.S. Air Force general. Now, you don't get calls like that often. And to know that he was awake to this issue, following Geoengineering Watch, clear on the severity of what was happening, sharing it with his other colleagues that are also high-ranking officers, that was certainly a lot of wind in my sails, because the only way we can stop these programs, our only chance, is to reach enough critical awareness, back to the event in August, back to how critical that event is, to absolutely pack that house. That auditorium, by the way, seats well over 1,000. Again, there is no entrance fee. I simply need people to show up and help, to physically help with sharing the word, to getting the word out. That's what I need. So back to that critical mass of awareness. It's reaching that awareness that allows people like the general who called me to become awake, that then allows him to start to share that information with other military generals. so that we can break the machine down from the inside out, so that we can get the U.S. military, at least enough of them, our brothers and sisters who don't realize what they're doing.